The Galactic Council chambers had seen 10,000 years of diplomacy, but nothing like the silence that followed the footage. 3 billion souls on the colony world of New Haven, erased in nuclear fire by the Krell sovereignty. Men, women, children, gone in an afternoon. King Voreth of the Krell sat upon his gravity throne, utterly unconcerned. They were squatters on a world we claimed millennia ago. We simply reclaimed our property. The council murmured. Some species nodded. Ancient territorial claims were recognized law. Then General Elizabeth Kai stood up. She was small by galactic standards, barely 6 feet, no natural armor, no weapons visible. But every ambassador in the chamber felt the temperature drop when she moved to the central podium. General Kai, the council mediator, began. Earth recognizes this as a tragedy, but laws are 3 billion people, she interrupted quietly. Her voice carried despite its softness. 1.7 billion were children under the age of 15. Regrettable, Voreth said, examining his claws, but within our rights. The Galactic Conventions are clear. Ancient claims supersede. The Galactic Conventions, Elizabeth said, and now her voice had an edge that made the mediator's antennae flatten, were written by species who never fought a total war, who never had to. She activated her holopad. Images filled the chamber, not of New Haven, but of Earth, old Earth, burning cities, mushroom clouds, trenches filled with bodies, camps with chimneys, mass graves that stretched for miles. This is what we did to ourselves, she continued. Before we reached the stars, before we knew you existed, we killed each other by the millions. We invented weapons that could glass our entire planet. We built machines of death so efficient, so terrible, that we outlawed them not because they didn't work, but because they worked too well. The council watched in growing horror as the images continued. Chemical weapons, biological plagues, nuclear arsenals that could end all life. We stopped, Elizabeth said. We looked at what we'd become and said never again. We buried our hate. We joined your community of civilized species. We followed your laws, accepted your conventions, played by your rules. She turned to face Voreth directly. We did this because we believed civilization was worth preserving. Her eyes were cold now, empty. You just taught us that lesson was wrong. Voreth laughed, a sound like grinding stone. You threaten the Krell Empire? Your fleet is a fraction of ours. You barely have 30 worlds. We have 300 systems and allies across. We don't need a fleet, Elizabeth interrupted. Fleet engagements are civilized. Conventions, rules of engagement, surrender protocols, that's all very proper. She leaned forward. We're done being proper. She uploaded a file to the Council's central database. Classification markers covered it. Things the Council had never seen before. Genetic weapons, nanophage swarms, quantum-entangled antimatter devices, relativistic kinetic bombardment, reality-warping physics the Council had deemed too dangerous to research. Every single one of these, Elizabeth said, we invented before we left our solar system. We locked them away. We promised we'd never use them. The temperature seemed to drop further. That promise died with New Haven. The Council will never permit, the mediator began. The Council, Elizabeth said flatly, has precisely one choice. Unanimously declare what the Krell did as genocide. Sanction them. Strip their council seat. Do it within 72 hours. She paused. Or learn why Earth is classified as a death world, and why we're the only species to ever survive it. Voreth rose from his throne, fury in his eyes. You wouldn't dare. You'd be pariahs. Every species would turn against. 37 species, Elizabeth interrupted, pulling up a list, have contacted Earth in the last 6 hours, offering intelligence, resources, and quiet support. She smiled without humor. Turns out a lot of civilizations are tired of the Krell. They just needed someone willing to stop playing civilized. She gathered her materials. 72 hours. After that, we stop following the galactic conventions. We go back to being what we were before we met you. And what's that? For to spot. Elizabeth stopped at the chamber door. When she looked back, something ancient and terrible moved behind her eyes, something that had built pyramids of skulls, that had invented the word apocalypse, that had clawed its way to the top of Earth's food chain by being more ruthless than anything else evolution could produce. The monsters who scared themselves, she said quietly. And we're very, very good at it. The council voted in 48 hours. Unanimous. The Krell's sovereignty was sanctioned, stripped of power, their king arrested. But the real message had been received across the galaxy. Humanity had been playing nice. Everyone desperately hoped